Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel yet again. Welcome back, Nero, by the way. I'm happy to be here. Glad to see you guys. Goodness gracious, dude. I've lost my channel twice in a week. How ridiculous is that? So we're going to quickly cover that, and then we're going to be covering the news that we're going to be discussing today. I'm trying to do a catch-up video here for some of the news that came out this week when I did not have access to my channel. So as you guys know, my channel got hijacked. I eventually got my channel back. I made a comeback video, and then for some reason, later on that day, my channel got taken down by YouTube themselves. Don't know why. Didn't really give me an explanation, but they eventually did get me my channel back again, but they got me the correct handle this time, and right now it actually says NerosCinema Official, but that will be changed in like 1 week's time. We can only change your name like a certain number of times per week or every 2 weeks on YouTube, so give it a week or so, and then I'll actually have the name NerosCinema back. My handle will be NerosCinema. It'll still be youtube.com/NerosCinema, and hopefully all this ugliness will be behind us. And speaking of things that have also changed, as you guys saw, April Showers is back. Pro Leader reached out and said that they are changing some more things with the content ID system, and I should be good to go from now on. And I uploaded a privated test video to see if the content ID was going to match. It did not. Looks like I can use April Showers again. So there you guys have it. The old intro is now back. Yeah, it's been a hell of a week, man. It really has been. But in light of that, we also got a bunch of COD news that came out. Of course, I couldn't cover it, but now that I have my channel back, I can actually start discussing this stuff. So you guys may have heard a while back when Tom Henderson came out and said that we were not going to be having a 2-year life cycle for Modern Warfare 2, but rather Sledgehammer Games was going to be releasing a new game this year in 2023, and it's going to be kind of like a continuation of Modern Warfare 2, but it's going to be its own standalone game with its own beta, its own campaign, its own multiplayer, so on and so forth. Well, Jason Schreier, who is one of the best industry people out there for news, we've been talking about him for a number of years here in the channel. He formerly worked at Kotaku back when we were covering him back in COD World War II. Now he works at Bloomberg, and he put out an article that is basically corroborating everything that Tom Henderson was saying. I'll put a link to the article down there in the description. But for this video here today, I would really like to cover some aspects of that article because it kind of gives us more insight as to what's happening within Activision and what is going to be happening to the future of the Call of Duty franchise. So here is going to be pulled straight from the article. At one point, Activision executives were briefing staff on a brand new vision for Call of Duty in which the series would switch between Modern Warfare and Black Ops games, each receiving 2 years of support. But any long-term plans at Activision remain hazy and tentative as the company waits to finalize its acquisition by Microsoft Corporation. The $69 billion deal is pending regulatory approval. I've been covering that here in the channel as well. That thing has been an entire mess, man. It really has been. The amount of stuff going on with that, and then of course Sony trying to push back and Microsoft saying that, it's going to be good for the games industry. Then of course we had all the promises that were being made by Microsoft, like signing that 10-year deal with Nintendo, that 10-year deal with Nvidia, and also offering that same 10-year deal to Sony to bring Call of Duty to all platforms with same-day content parity, no exclusivity, and things like that. It sounds good on paper, but it's very slow moving, as typically this stuff is. But moving on here, this is really interesting to me. It appears that Sledgehammer Games is kind of concerned about the game that they're putting together. So if we continue on, initially the game was just going to be an expansion to Modern Warfare 2, but now it's going to be its own full release. And here we see the expansion was planned to be big, with a single-player campaign and several multiplayer maps, and eventually it morphed into a full release. Sledgehammer's new Modern Warfare game, the name is still unclear, but it's probably not going to be Modern Warfare 3, is now slated for the fall, the people said, declining to be named because they weren't authorized to speak to the press. Activision spokesperson Neil Wood noted that the company has announced that a premium Call of Duty game will arrive this year, but they had nothing new to share. And if we continue on, some current and former employees of Sledgehammer Games are worried about the schedule, the new schedule that is. Initially, it was just going to be an expansion to Modern Warfare 2, but now it's its own full-fledged game, which has given the company less than 2 years to develop the game. A similar schedule for the studio's previous game, 2021's Call of Duty Vanguard, led to a difficult period of overtime for some staff. The game didn't perform as well as Activision had anticipated and received generally negative reviews. I think that's fair to say, man. Like, COD Vanguard, like, it's so weird to me because Vanguard's a World War II game, just like Sledgehammer's previous title, Call of Duty World War II. And I talked about it in my reviews. I talked about it during the beta of that game. I talked about it post-launch. But did it not just seem like it was like there was no soul to Call of Duty Vanguard? You know, they just kind of like pushed it out there. It didn't feel right. I know that's like the worst way to put it, but it didn't feel like a full game. I mean, look at zombies in that game, for crying out loud. Like, one of the things they used to market that game was that Treyarch was going to be handling zombies, so we thought we were going to have a continuation of the stuff that was going to be happening in Black Ops Cold War, which I think that kind of happened, because it was like kind of like a prequel, I guess, to Cold War. But dude, the zombies in that game was so bad. Like, it was like actually like genuinely worse than the mobile game. Like, it was that bad. It was freaking terrible. The multiplayer itself just felt hollow. The campaign was solid, but I know the game's like old now and it feels weird to talk about spoilers, but I'll just say this about like the Vanguard campaign. The actual story was like 2 hours long, like in universe. Like, the actual story went on for like 2 hours, it felt like. The rest of it was just all flashbacks and stuff like that. Like, it didn't feel like there was an actual story that happened there. Like, everything about the game, in my opinion anyway, seemed rushed, and I generally did not enjoy the game. I got tired of it pretty quickly, and I think the same is true for a number of fans out there who remembers the big vacation that Sledgehammer Games had right after the game came out, likely due to the fact that they had an incredibly rushed schedule where, like they said, they had overtime for a bunch of the staff and things like that. So I think they had like a mandatory vacation after the game came out. We didn't get any content updates. Ride shields were completely broken. Shipment was on fire 24/7. Like, there were just so many problems with Vanguard, and some current and former employees at Sledgehammer Games are worried that history is going to repeat itself with Call of Duty 2023. But continuing on here, this time around, some developers say they're more optimistic because they're receiving more support from other Activision studios, including Treyarch and Infinity Ward, whose leadership is also supervising the game. So that's good news, I suppose. There's some people that are optimistic about this, and I don't know what to believe, man. I really don't, because it was before Vanguard even came out. It was actually Modern Warfare 2019. When that game came out, that is when they decided, Activision decided that all these studios were going to start working together. Like, look at the ridiculous amount of studios on your screen right now. All these studios were going to start working together. They were all going to start using the same engine, and every studio essentially is going to have their finger in the pie of every game that releases in one way or another. Like, even going back to Modern Warfare 2019, it may not have seemed like it, but Treyarch had a bit of their hand in that game. The same thing is true of Modern Warfare 2. Treyarch is handling the ranked mode within Modern Warfare 2, whereas Raven Software is handling Warzone, but Infinity Ward is like overseeing kind of all of it, and they're all just sort of working together. 3,000 devs, right? And with that being said, Vanguard still turned out terribly, at least in my opinion. Some of you guys may disagree, and feel free to, disagree down there in the comments, but the game still turned out horrible, in my opinion, anyway. And so I'm not super optimistic that somehow it's going to be better with COD 2023. It's possible that with COD 2023, we're going to find ourselves in a situation where they learned from their previous mistakes and they were able to actually get the game out in a much more complete state this time. We're going to have to wait and see. There are leaks and rumors going around that since COD 2023 was initially conceived as an expansion to Modern Warfare 2, that we are going to have some carried over content within that game, which is something that can be both good and bad. The good aspect of that is if they are carrying over some parts of Modern Warfare 2 into this next game, perhaps things like the Orion camo will actually be carried over into the next title, and things that you do in this game will actually feel like they matter because they're not just being confined to one game and 1 year life cycles and things like that. Doing stuff in Modern Warfare 2 that carries over into COD 2023 would actually be a good thing, but they've also said that they're going to be carrying over things like game modes, multiplayer maps, and things like that. So, if you look at some of the maps that are original within Modern Warfare 2, it's possible that some of those maps are also going to be featured in COD 2023, which is concerning because if you look at Modern Warfare 2's post-launch support right now, we find ourselves in a situation where we are, goodness gracious, 5 months almost into the game's life cycle, and they have not released an original map post-launch yet. They brought back Shipment, they brought back the museum map from the beta that was cut for unknown reasons, they brought back Shoot House, maps. They brought back Dome, you know what I mean, from Modern Warfare 3, as was Call of Duty Vanguard. It was just in Vanguard, for crying out loud. It's also in Warzone. They basically copy and pasted it out of Warzone 2.0 and just, you know, put some barriers up and called it a day. You know, they haven't released any actual, like, original multiplayer map content for Modern Warfare 2 so far. And then if we go into COD 2023 and the game has like 5 original maps and then some remakes from older games and then some maps that they copy and pasted over from Modern Warfare 2, I don't see the COD community dealing with that very well, especially when it's going to be, allegedly, as of right now, a full price $70 premium Call of Duty title. So that does not sound good, man. People joke about, you know, Modern Warfare 2 being recycled warfare. COD 2023 has the possibility to be the most recycled game in the history of the franchise. But we'll have to wait and see how things are going to play out. As of this moment right now, Activision has not officially confirmed any of this information. They say a premium Call of Duty release is happening in the 4th quarter of 2023. So October, November, December, in one of those 3 months, there's going to be a premium COD release. But according to Tom Henderson, according to Jason Schreier, as well as a bunch of other industry insiders, I think Charlie Intel even agreed with this and corroborated some of the information, this is going to be a game. It's going to be a full-fledged AAA Call of Duty $70 title by Sledgehammer Games, and the folks at Sledgehammer are concerned, and I think rightly so. So as always, I will keep you guys posted as we learn more and as this story develops. This news technically, once again, did come out a couple of days ago, but as you guys know, I didn't have a channel, and of course I wanted to cover this news. I wanted to discuss it, and you know, that's why you guys are still around. That's why you follow my YouTube channel, man. We cover COD news and we do Call of Duty videos here, and this is something that's really interesting that affects us all. So I wanted to discuss it, and I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. Leave your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.